2024 was mid. So this video will be low effort mid as well. Any objections? No? Okay, let's get into it. Compared to previous years, I didn't play a whole lot of new stuff. Instead, I chose to just retreat into older stuff instead, mostly in my little diversion into playing a bunch of Metroidvanias earlier in the year, playing a ton of Medieval Dynasty and Factorio, and my Zelda spree in late summer. But each time a new game came out that I was looking forward to, I was like, no, I'll just play this game I already like instead. So here we have my list of only 10 games from 2024 I actually played, compared to like 26 games in 2023. Go watch that video, it's a lot better than this one. Oh, wait. This is the part where I'm supposed to dunk on the Game Awards again. They kinda roasted themselves this year though.
Now, as always, we're recognizing an outstanding year in gaming while looking at
Hey, Waldorf.
What is it, Stetler?
How long is this bozo gonna go on?
Well, that's what I've been asking for the last 10 years.
Oh!
Hey, guys, yeah, up here, host, yeah, we're we could hear you.
Oh, good. Can you hear this? Boo!
Yeah, please wrap it up.
Yeah, I got nothing. On to number 10. Yeah, we only have 10 games and we're starting off with not just a dishonorable mention, but a fucking adults-only porn game. So I can't show it on screen. Yeah, listen, when I set out to do that top 10 Metroidvania video that I kinda don't want to make anymore, I came across a game called Future Fragments. Doesn't sound like a porn game, does it? Well, it is. But what it isn't is a Metroidvania. It's kind of close, but not really. It's a linear platformer that plays kinda like Metroid. The plan was to include any of these adult-only games in the top 20 video if they were good enough as games. And this one had potential to make the cut. There were some decent puzzles, pretty well-designed combat and bosses, the premise of the plot is surprisingly kind of interesting, and there's a surprising amount of dialogue here, in between all the cringy Reddit tier humor and rapey sex scenes. But the biggest crime of this game, and the reason it deserves a dishonorable mention, when the game came out in version 1.0 in February, it was not even finished. Like, there were story bits and voice acting missing for the second half of the game, and the last boss was a half-baked, unfinished mess of a quick-time event fight that had nothing to do mechanically with everything you did in the rest of the game. Disappointing. Developers, never do this. Secrets of Grindia was another disappointing game, especially in how it was sold to me, as a one-man project made from years and years of development and love in the style of action RPG classics. But what I experienced was a boring game with horrendous difficulty spikes and not much rewarding content to make up for it. The game is called Secrets of Grindia as kind of a joke, but grinding is pointless since the game has level scaling. I felt like all the time I spent collecting the enemy cards and other items was a waste as a result. I will say I did like the puzzle aspect in some parts of the game, especially the dungeons, but that was about it. I guess this was just a nostalgia trip that I was not the target audience for. I like city builders, but Terrascape didn't do it for me. I tried it out because I thought I liked the way the game looked, but what I got was not really a city builder in the traditional sense. It's more of a tile-based puzzle game disguised as a city builder. To its credit, I can see the appeal, if you just want to pick it up and play for a few minutes a session, and it's pretty simple and easy to get into. There is also some RNG to it in the form of the building cards you have, which encourages improvisation rather than planning. However, to me, it got boring quickly, and doesn't give the same kind of satisfaction I get from a typical city builder. This next game, Plushie from the Sky, should have been at the bottom in any normal list, but it was 2024. This game is pretty bad, but in an endearing kind of way. And it's silly as hell. Basically, you play as this girl in a dream world who swings her plushie at enemies, and shoots stuff. And you can dodge roll infinity times in midair, and yeah, this game is just pure chaos, and I can't help but enjoy it regardless of all of its problems, like most likely being an asset flip. Oh well. At least it's cute. Yeah, it's not looking good for this list because we got another game that was kind of a disappointment. And if there are any Nintendo fanboys in the audience here, well, sorry to say, but Princess Peach Showtime is mid. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, you're not the target audience for this. Or, it's supposed to be for little girls who like cute stuff. And to that I'd say, bitch, I am the target audience and bring on all the cute shit. In fact, this game's cuteness was probably its biggest appeal. I loved all the costumes Peach can get, and I thought a lot of the set pieces were pretty creative. Some are better than others, obviously, but all of them are very easy, which is to be expected, but come on. Games for kids don't need to be pathetic and simple, and I think this game could have used a bit more challenge to keep them interested. Remember what we 90s kids went through and came out better for, just saying. Totally not biased or anything. Weirdly, there's also very, very few references to the rest of the Mario franchise, which is odd because you'd think that many people who play this, old or young, are probably fans of or at least familiar with Mario already. The game also deserves some more objective criticism for being such a simple experience and still being unable to run above 30 FPS. Come on, man. Well, I guess I can forgive it a bit because look how cute this outfit is. Despite everything so far, this is probably the weirdest game on the list. BlazBlue Entropy Effect. This is a 2D action roguelite that uses the BlazBlue characters, and that seems to be the only connection to BlazBlue this game has. They're just there. You use them as digital avatars or something to get your little robot character into this program or something. I don't know. This story made no sense to me at all because I kinda tuned it out. You're supposed to unlock memories or something after each run, and I beat the game by completing a run, but I guess I didn't beat the game because I hadn't unlocked all the memories yet. Therefore, the story wasn't completed. Roguelites are starting to annoy me. I haven't played beyond beating the one run and I don't really care to, but I did enjoy the gameplay while I had my hands on it at least. Each character is pretty unique from one another, and the amount of buffs you can unlock to customize your ideal build gives the game enough replayability to last you a while. The music is also pretty great, and the art style is nice to look at too. Combat does have some issues like janky hitboxes and hit stun annoyances, but I liked it enough. Especially my sassy cat girl main who uses a lot of explosions. Now that we're getting into the real good stuff, I had a hard time picking between these next 3 games, but I eventually decided on Momodora Moonlit Farewell for number 4. This is the 5th and allegedly final game in the Momodora series, and it is by far the best one. The combat feels slow at first, but it's pretty well designed and rewarding to get down. The characters and style of the game is super cute and pretty, and it's a great send-off for this Metroidvania series. But like the others, it's pretty short, despite being the longest in its own series, and it did have its fair share of difficulty spikes and inconsistent hitboxes, but nothing deal-breaking that makes the game not worth experiencing. If you like these kinds of games, it's worth giving the series a try. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah, it's much higher on my list than Tears of the Kingdom was in my 2023 video, but it also has much, much less tough competition. As far as 2D Zelda games go, it's hard to compare because of how different it is, since in this game your main means of combat is summoning monsters and objects to fight. So this game is also very heavily puzzle-oriented, probably being the most puzzly Zelda game since Oracle of Ages. So I liked that about it more than pretty much everything else, to be honest. In case you missed it, I played this game on Hero Mode with 3 hearts blind on stream, and I died 14 times. That's not a lot. By comparison, I also replayed Oracle of Ages for like the 5th time on stream with 3 hearts and died 31 times. So the difference in difficulty is quite stark. There's a lot of things you can do to cheese this game, and, well, I guess that's kind of by design. Like my crab spam dominated certain enemies, including bosses. The rest of the game's content, such as the quests and story, I thought was kinda mid. But with the amount of references for us longtime Zelda fans, we'll still be entertained at least. Oh, and the game is also lacking in other key areas such as running like ass and not having a fucking options menu. Again, why are you like this, Nintendo? Grezzo? Fucking why? It was a tough call between Zelda and Anime Zelda, but this year, Anime Zelda comes out on top. Barely. Ys 10 Nordics. Ironically, I have more negatives listed for this game than positives, and maybe this is just recency bias talking. But the game excels in the one area that's more important than anything else. The combat, and therefore the main aspect of the gameplay, is just pure fun. And that's pretty much all you need to know. But like I always say, if you haven't played anything in this series before,
and here we go.
You should play Ys Origin. Just saying. Obviously, Ys 10 here has a lot to criticize, and Falcom is probably aware of most of it given they announced a fucking remake 2 years after this game came out in Japan. The game is poorly balanced in favor of the player. I played on hard mode. Only the beginning of the game gave any sort of pushback, and the game got easier the further I got. The story has the usual Falcom pitfalls full of ridiculous Deus Ex Machina moments and an overload of non-essential fluff dialogue between characters you'll never see again in future games and probably don't care about in the current game. The game's graphics look worse than the previous game, which also got criticism for its graphics, this time looking like a PS2 game in many areas. The ship combat is pathetically easy, and while the combat is fun, it's full of what I call shitboxes. But it's okay, it's what I expected. And after all,
the game is fun. If it's not fun, why bother?
my number one shouldn't surprise anyone familiar with my channel, and especially my streams. I played this game for over 300 hours and had more fun than I have had with video games in a long time. 2024 was a year where I retreated back into my old favorites and stuff quite a lot, but it was also a year where I discovered a new addiction via the game Factorio, an older game that I also played for like 300 hours, and led me to discover my number one game of 2024, Satisfactory. Now, this is not exactly a game I can recommend to just about anyone. The aforementioned Factorio is a better entry to this type of subgenre because it's simpler and more customizable for any skill level, and it doesn't take nearly as long to beat, I think. Maybe my own perception is skewed because I spent a lot more time than is probably normal micromanaging and trying to make my stuff look cool. And I think I succeeded? Unfortunately, I was not prepared for what exactly I was supposed to prepare for in this game, if that makes sense. You need a lot of space, and I mean a lot of space to get everything you need built in a proper way, and I definitely did not allocate enough, but I did allocate enough to be able to finish the game, after like 300 hours. Well, to be honest, most of that was me putting off the main goal of creating the ship parts you need to complete each phase. But god damn, there is so much stuff to do and get distracted by that I have no regrets. Whether it was going out and hunting for the scattered alien artifacts, mowing down a bunch of the game's alien fauna for points to spend in the little shop thing, or trying to make neat little truck and train routes for things I only kinda needed. Only to realize I messed something up and have to move my buildings around and make space for other stuff because I went in so blind. Yeah, kinda shot myself in the foot there, but it was worth it to say I figured out how to make everything work and beat it on my own. Obviously, the game is not without its faults. There is a story that disappointingly set up something interesting and went absolutely nowhere, but it's not exactly the main appeal here anyway. I found myself getting extremely nitpicky with stories in video games lately, thanks Trails. So it taking a back seat wasn't exactly a negative, but I would have liked to see it go somewhere interesting. The character customization is extremely lacking. You don't even get to pick your sex. Instead, you play as an ambiguous gender mystery meat person-shaped being in a full-body spacesuit. But also not a big deal because Ada will constantly remind you of how unimportant you are as a person and more important as a corporate slave. And again, not the main focus of the game anyway. The truck routes are definitely glitchy. I frequently find them stalled in random locations for no reason, which disrupts my automated production sometimes. So that's an important thing they gotta fix. But all in all, pretty minor complaints when put up against the game's astronomical positives. Including the performance, the game runs very well on my old-ass PC and I was able to stream it with very few issues. I had so much fun with this game because it tickled my OCD, TISM, ADHD, whatever the fuck, in so many ways that I want to go back in and play it again. Maybe in co-op even, if anyone wants to. Now, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like there was some other 2024 game I played, but maybe I did some sort of time travel and played it in 2023 somehow? Why did I remember it like that? I don't know. Maybe I made a video about it or something already. Anyway, thanks for watching if you stuck around through the whole thing. I know I didn't put nearly as much effort into this one, but I didn't really put much effort into trying out new games in 2024 either. So, here we are. Let me know in the comments what you played in 2024, or if any of the games I mentioned here somehow tickled your fancy. And don't forget to leave a like on this video, or a dislike if you're a Princess Peach sim. Share the video around to anyone you think may be entertained by this mid-slop. And don't forget to check out my other content, such as random news of gaming, my other top 10s, or my Smash Bros content. You can follow me on other social media listed in the description. And now, for a list of all the other things I played in 2024. SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Dig 2, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Bunny Must Die, Chelsea and the Seven Devils,
Kill me, please. I wanna die.
Flip Witch, Forbidden Sex Hex. Yes, interesting name. It's one of those Metroidvanias I played, and it's actually top 20 worthy, believe it or not. The Night Witch, Magical Drop 2, Anno 1404, Laika Age Through Blood, After Image, Iconoclast, Axiom Verge 2, Apotheon, Trinity Fusion, Hades, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights, Islets, Cave Story, Bronte Fishy Adventure, Ghost Song, Rusted Moss, Medieval Dynasty, which I spent way too much time in, just saying, Zelda Wind Waker, Zelda Twilight Princess, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Zelda Oracle of Ages, Zelda Link's Awakening, and Zelda Minish Cap, Shadow the Hedgehog, Factorio, which would have been like number 2 on the list if it came out in 2024, just saying, Peggle Extreme, and last, and certainly not least, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.